guys, it's Lucy, and today I'm going to be doing my June wrap-up. In the month of June, I read 6 books, which is more than I've read in a while, actually, in a month. And I took part in 3 readathons. I vlogged 1 week of them, and it was the week I was taking part in 2 readathons, the library-a-thon and read-o-rama, so I'll link that vlog down below in case you're interested. And now I'm just going to start talking about the books that I read in chronological order. First we have Bitch Planet Volume 2, President Bitch. This is the 2nd volume in a graphic novel series that is about a dystopian future where kind of the patriarchy goes overboard and basically women are completely subservient to men in the society, and any woman who's not woman enough, or their idea of what a woman is subject to harassment, and they're seen as breaking the law, and they're sent to a prison planet that is known as Bitch Planet, and it follows some of the women who end up on this planet. In this one, stuff gets real. There's a trigger warning for rape and sexual assault in the first issue of this volume, and like this whole series is rated M for mature. Take from that what you will. I enjoyed this more than I did the first one just because this felt more established and I kind of knew what was going on. The first one I was really confused. I didn't know anything about it and I thought the synopsis was really different than what it actually was. So I spent like half the volume being like, what is going on here? But this one I kind of knew what was going on so I could get into it more, and I ended up giving this 4 stars. The artwork is kind of like traditional comic book style, I guess. So it looks fine. It's not like super beautiful in my opinion, but like it works for the story that it's telling. I would recommend this if you're a feminist or for any feminist in your life. Next, I finished Everything Leads to You by LaCour. This is about a girl named Emmy who just graduated high school and she's working on a film set, and 2 things happen to her. Her brother offers to let her and her best friend live in his apartment over the summer while he's away, and then around that time, Emmy and her best friend also find this letter from a deceased actor, and that leads them on to kind of like a little mystery, and the book follows Emmy as they go on this mystery and her working on the film set and just living their lives during the summer. I ended up giving this 3.5 stars. This features a female-female romance, which is own voices, as LaCour herself is married to a woman, and I really enjoyed reading this. I had a good time. I really especially liked the stuff about the film sets and stuff because Emmy's job on the film set is set design, and the way she thinks about it and the way it's described is so beautiful, and I really enjoyed reading that. So if you have like any love for like filmmaking, I guess, then I think this would be a good book for you. My only issue was kind of that I had some logistical issues, I guess. I said issue twice. Because some of it didn't feel like super realistic. Like, why is this 18-year-old working on a professional film set? And like it just seemed too coincidental. And then her brother goes away and just leaves her his apartment, and like no one asks their parents, and the parents are kind of absent, but like she has a good relationship with them. It's really weird. I feel like I was just spoiled by like the other contemporary I've been reading where the family element is so strong. So the lack of that was very apparent to me and did kind of bring it down for me, but I really did enjoy it and I would recommend it, especially if you're looking for a good female-female romance. Shatter Me by Taherah Mafi, if you don't already know, which I'd be really surprised if you didn't, is a dystopian set in the future, obviously because it's dystopian, where we've kind of basically destroyed the earth and a government called the Reestablishment has taken over, and we follow a girl named Juliet whose touch is fatal, so when she touches someone she can kill them, and because of this she is thrown into like a prison / asylum, and the book takes off from there. Once again, I'd be really surprised if you hadn't heard of it. This book is very popular on BookTube. The popularity of it on BookTube kind of brought down my reading experience, but I'll get into that. I'm not gonna lie, I thought I wasn't going to enjoy this really at all, but it's been on my TBR for so long and everyone talks about it that I decided to finally read it, and I'm actually really glad I did because I did have fun reading it. It kind of brought back my nostalgic dystopian feelings. A lot of us probably had this phase in life where we're reading dystopian books, starting with the Hunger Games probably, and yeah, so it just kind of brought that feeling back. This one is definitely more focused on the romance than I'm ready to fix the government and everything like that, but I still enjoyed it. I had fun. This was kind of insta-lovey, even though there's kind of an explanation for why it's like that, but I didn't really buy it, but I still had fun reading it. My biggest issue was basically the ship in this series. Everyone talks about it, and it's not the ship in the first book, so I'm waiting the whole first book for something to happen so that ship can happen, and so that really brought it down for me. But that's not really the book's fault, so I feel bad saying it, but it is what it is. I do rate partially on enjoyment, so, but I did really enjoy the writing. Actually, a lot of people don't like it, but I am a fan of lots of metaphors in my writing. I also didn't mind the strike-throughs at all. They served a purpose, and I understood that purpose clearly, and I think they did it well. And also the way people described it makes it seem like every other word is crossed out, which isn't true at all. So I liked it. I'm really interested to see how the ship that everyone ships happens. Etiquette and Espionage by Gail Carriger. I listened to this on audiobook and it was narrated by Moira Quirk. This is set in a steampunk fantasy setting where supernatural creatures like vampires and like werewolves exist, but then there are also like steampunk elements like ether and like weird robot things. I forgot what they're called already. So we follow one girl named Sophronia who is kind of a troublemaker. Her mom doesn't know what to do with her, so then she sends her to a finishing school so that she can learn to be a lady. But when Sophronia gets to this finishing school, she realizes that it is not exactly what it seems, and while she is learning lessons such as how to curtsy, she's also learning the finer ways of how to kill someone. It's a combination of a finishing school and a spy school, and we follow Sophronia's adventures when she gets there. And yeah, it's just a really fun book. I enjoyed it. I gave it 3.5 stars. I would recommend it if you enjoyed Ali Carter's Gallagher Girls series. Actually, there's a video somewhere, I forgot who did it, but I'll find it, of someone comparing Gallagher Girls and this series, and the comparisons are really staggering. But this is a different book. The setting is different. The main character is pretty different, I think, but it's the same kind of feel because like there are these girls going to a spy school and like stuff is happening. And yeah, I don't know, I thought it was fun to read. I will be continuing on in the series. Hidden Figures by Margot Shetterly. I finally finished this book. If you don't know, which I don't really know how you missed it, it was very popular and it's also a movie. Catch it on DVD, it's a good movie. This is a nonfiction book about some of the black women who were part of a group of mathematicians known as computers because they were doing all the computing work for what would become NASA, and they helped put people into space and helped with the space race. And these stories probably most people don't know about. So Margot Shetterly found out and like took all this information, did all these interviews, and like compiled it into this book, and you learn a lot about these women, what they were working on, things like that. I enjoyed it, but not as much as I expected. I expected a little more on what these women's lives were like, and a little less of the technical writing that turned out to be a large part of this book. And I guess I'm just not used to reading that, so it made it really slow for me to read, because I would read like a whole like chapter about like, one of the women's lives, like, oh, they moved from this place to do this, and blah blah, but then we would start talking about like the wind tunnel they were working on, and I'd be like, it's probably because I'm not used to reading nonfiction. But yeah, I'm really glad I got to read about these women. This book was inspiring, just as the movie was for me as a black woman in computer science. I would recommend both the movie and this book. I would recommend the movie if you would like more of a story because of the nature of movies. It needs to be more linear, and there actually needs to be like a plot line and things, so you get more of that, and therefore it's a little more entertaining, I think. But if you really want to dive deep into the histories of this woman, and actually the movie leaves out like one of the women, so if you want to dive deep, I would really recommend reading the book. And the last book that I read was Destroy Me by Taherah Mafi. This is book 1.5 in the Shatter Me series. This is after the events of Shatter Me and follows Warner's point of view, and that's basically all I can tell you. But I enjoyed this. I gave it 3.5 stars. I read it because I really wanted to see what was going on in Warner's head, and it did give me that, but not exactly what I wanted. I'm gonna read it Raffle Me and see where that takes me. Those are all the books that I read in the month of June. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you have any opinions about any of the books that I mentioned, please be sure to leave a comment down below and let me know what your favorite book was that you read in June. And if you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe to my channel because I make more videos where I talk about books. And actually in the month of July, I'm making a video every day. So subscribe if you want to be updated on that. And again, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye!